Regarding the English background, he does some nice little background, what you were just asking. He reviews some key developments in the history of development of capitalism in England, Sean. What is very important is in 1547 there was an attempt to enslave English in England, and there's a rebellion, and they fight and they beat it back, and they establish some common law principles. And he talks about other reasons why they didn't persist in that because of the cost-benefit analysis, which he goes into. Allen is a very trained economist. I said he was a coal miner and stuff. He comes to New York. He teaches at the Jefferson School, which was a Communist Party school for many. He leaves the Communist Party, but he teaches economics there, Marxist economics. He teaches the Labor Research Association. Brilliant. He understands the economics, right, really well. Next. Here's a key thing. So what happens 1563 in England, the law is passed, and this is the labor law of England for the next 200 plus years, the Statute of Artificers. And basically two key aspects of it for our purpose right here. There would be no slavery, and laborers were to be paid wages. This is what we call the rights of an Englishman, if you will, right? This is, if you will. And so that's the law of the land of England who's coming to Virginia. This is their law. And the people who come are English. This is what they... All right. So by 1607, the conditions had ripened, and there's some colonization efforts, Sean. All right. Allen analyzes and discusses, I think people will find this, people interested in history elsewhere in the Americas, situations in different parts of America, particularly the Euro-Indian relations. And then he turns to Virginia. He points out a few key aspects about Virginia. It's a continental colony, not an insular one. So that means there's routes of escape unless you set up a system of social control that can contain. There's little significant stratification, particularly in Virginia, the area around Jamestown. The Native Americans living there are the Powhatan, right? And they're not a very stratified society, and it's a low population density. This is not going to serve the labor needs of the English, right? But the Powhatan were well provisioned, and for the first decade or two, they actually had the preponderance of force in terms of the Virginia colony. And this comes up, and some of this stuff I find striking too. Allen makes some important points on why the European powers didn't go deep into Africa, and it's because the Africans had the preponderance of force on the continent, for serious efforts to go in and move in, right? But the Native American population around Jamestown could not be surrounded, could not be exterminated, could not be brought under that degree of administrative control. Sean?